Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides, and a lot of you have been blowing up my inbox commenting. You want to know, hey, is it now the time to get a Ford Focus RS? I don't know if you saw my other video. You definitely want to check it out where I'm talking about Ford is pulling out of the car arena. All they're going to have, it's going to be a transition, but all they're eventually going to have is the Mustang and a Ford Focus, what's called Active. It's sort of like a crossover vehicle. Those are going to be the only two cars that they have, and then the rest are going to be pickup trucks and SUVs. So definitely yes, if you are in the market or interested in a Ford Focus RS, there really is no better time. If you look around, you could find some really great deals because there are 2017 still available, and every now and then you will come across a 2018. Now, if you are specifically looking at a 2018, remember that is the last edition, the LE. Two color choices. You get red and you get nitrous blue. That's it. So the one behind me, as you could probably guess, is going to be a 2017 since it is in this sinister stealth black. I mean, this thing is just amazing. The shadow black is a very sinister color, and I really like it. I've lived that day of owning a black car, so I have no aspirations of ever personally owning a black car again. But boy, when it is clean and it's sitting in the showroom here at Walker Ford, it looks really good. But anyways, let me give you a little history. If you're new to the Ford Focus RS, let me give you a little history about it. So Ford has actually had that letter designation RS for a long time. That's their rallying branch of their motorsports division at Ford. And over at Ford Europe, they've been using the RS designation on the Escorts. They had a car called the RS 200 that they raced in the World Rally Championship. And then eventually, when the Focus came about, they then added those two letters. Now, the last couple of generation Focuses or foci, I guess, talk about plural, want to be grammatically correct. But the last few generations, we didn't get an RS version here in the States. We've always got a lesser variant. So in 2016, it was huge news that not only was Ford coming out with an all new RS for the current generation Focus, but it would be for the first time brought over to the United States. And here it is. Now, what's really cool is that this RS all wheel drive 2.3-liter inline four turbocharged engine, putting out 350 horsepower, 350 foot-pounds of torque. Let's go ahead and take a look at the front of this Focus RS. Like I said, the shadow black is just really sinister. One of the things that draws me to this car is this opening here. A lot of cars are going to an open grille feature, but I really like what Ford did here, where it is really open. I like the nice wire mesh grill that they use instead of plastic. It gives it a nice higher end feel to it instead of some shiny cheap plastic. Now, if you're wondering why does this have to be here, why can't this be all open? Is obviously there's a structural piece here that is mandated by the Department of Transportation, and they put this cover over it because it has to be there. There's those famous letters RS. Now, if you're wondering why is the RS in blue, that is actually the color of RS is that light nitrous blue color. So no matter if you get a black, a gray, the red, or the nitrous blue, you always see the RS badging in that blue. Very nice deep lip spoiler here. Everything is integrated. It's aggressive yet refined, and it's all functional. Check it out. Check out these vents here. These are actually cooling the brakes. Underneath, if we were to lift up this car, underneath there's actually guides that guide air from the front of the opening to those rotors to cool those rotors down. Because remember, this car is all about performance. People are going to go do track days. People are going to go do autocross events, or hey, take some nice fun twisties in your neck of the woods. You want that brake pedal to be consistent every single time you hit it, and definitely with this car, that's going to happen. Let's go ahead and take a look at the side here. Now, if you're looking at a 2017 RS, one thing you should be aware of is you actually have some choices compared to the 2018. If you buy a 2018 LE, one choice. It comes fully optioned, sunroof. It's got the forged aluminum wheels like this one has, the six-way power adjustable driver's seat. So there's not a lot of wiggle room when it comes to options. If you get a 2017, you might be able to get, if you don't want the upcharge, they do have a cast aluminum wheel. So same size, same dimensions. It's just the forged, which is on this one, is going to be lighter. And like I've said in a lot of my other videos, because it's forged and it's lighter, it's not just about overall weight of the car, but it's that rotating mass. And that's what makes this car handle like no other, besides, of course, that very tricky all-wheel drive system. But you can see very, very nice flat black finish. There's those bright blue Brembo calipers, the color of the RS branding. No matter what color you get the nitrous blue color, and I'm telling you, on the black, they pop. Another thing that I like, they're coming with Michelins. Now, you can get the Cup 2s as an option on the 2017s. It's up to you. If you go with the Cup 2s, just be aware that those are going to wear out a lot faster because they are stickier. And if you are going to be doing track days, then you definitely want to go the Cup 2 route. But if you're going to drive this every day, do an occasional autocross here and there, these Michelin Pilot Sports are going to be perfect for you. And you're going to get a nice balance of performance and mileage. Let's go ahead and continue down the side. One thing that I think Ford missed a mark on compared to the other Ford Focus generations is that they should have flared these fenders out a little bit more on the RS model just to give it that rally look. It's a little flared. I mean, there is a body line here if you look closely, but if it was just a little bit more and just push the wheel and tire out a little bit more, it would really magnify the aggressive look. Now, one thing you should be aware about, they kind of went a little bit more tame with this RS generation. The reason why is because it wasn't just for Europe, it was for the world. So that's why they decided to do it. To finish it off up here up top, you have this really wonderful functional spoiler. So I like the way Ford took the plastic fiberglass here and then made this painted and then made this a nice flat black. Like I said, it is functional and it's not too obnoxious. So obviously you see this going down the road, you know this is not your standard Ford Focus. You know there's something special about it, but it's not too outlandish where people are going to point at you and be like, what is that? And then to wrap it off, Ford actually did change this whole lower rear bumper section. This is specific to the RS. So it's got these big, huge 2-inch exhaust outlets. It has this really wonderful diffuser. If Tom, my camera guy, could show you, if you creep underneath here, you could actually see what's cool about this exhaust is that you could actually make it quiet or loud depending on what situation you want. If you don't want to piss off your neighbors and wake them up in the morning, put it on the quiet mode. And then once you hit the road, then you hit the button and it'll open up. So the valve is only in this pipe. When it's open, both are functioning. When it's closed, you're only getting a right side functioning exhaust. This is a functional diffuser. I really like the way they brought the RS badging to the back of the car. And like I said, this rear bumper is very specific to the RS. It gives it a nice touch. So the outside is really cool. Let me go ahead and show you that 2.3 EcoBoost engine. Let's check it out. Okay, guys, here is the heart of the beast. This is what makes this probably one of the hottest hatches on the market. 2.3 liter inline four turbocharged engine, putting out 350 horsepower, 350 foot-pounds of torque. I think one of the things I'm not really the biggest fan of is this plastic cover that Ford decided to use. It looks a little bit almost like a Rubbermaid setup, but I do like this aluminum Ford Performance emblem here. Now, what's cool is remember, the Ford Focus RS, the Focus ST, the Fiesta ST, the Ford GT, the Ford Raptor, the Shelby GT350 and 350R are all part of this Ford Performance brand. And what's cool is when you buy one of these brand new, Ford is going to give you a free 2-day adventure at their Octane Academy, their racing academy in Salt Lake City, Utah. You just got to get yourself out there. You don't even need to bring your RS if you want to. They'll have one for you there to use, and you get to do track days, all sorts of autocross setups. It allows the owner to really see what is the true limit of this vehicle in a nice, safe environment, and that's something that I really got to give a thumbs up to Ford, and there are some other manufacturers that are doing that with their high-performance enthusiast cars. So whether you get any of the cars mentioned, they're going to give that to you totally free of charge. So you're looking at around $2,000 school right there for free. So that's really nice. I like the way Ford decided to have an open air box here, almost like a cold air, So the air is going to come in from outside into this air filter element. But it's cool because they even went with the detail of the RS on the open top of the filter box. Here's another RS in the piping here. Very nice layout. It's the same 2.3 liter out of the EcoBoost Mustang, but obviously massaged a little bit to give you that 350 horsepower, 350 foot-pounds of torque. You're looking at about 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds and a quarter mile of about 13 seconds flat, 12.9 if you're lucky with the shifting. Unbelievable setup. Engine's great, outside's great. Let's go ahead and take a look at the interior. All right, guys, we're inside this shadow black Ford Focus RS. And one thing I want to point out is if you look on the door panel to show that this is a little bit extra of a Focus, you could see the wonderful nitrous blue stitching on the armrest there. That's actual leather. And what's nice is it's a nice soft quality leather. So when you're resting your elbow on that armrest, it feels good. I like the way they used a little aluminum trim around the door unlock and lock, the lever to open up the door. And if Tom could show you inside, I really like here on the vents how there is some trim to break up the black. That's the one thing that probably I could say is the thing that I don't like the most about this car is that there's a lot of black. But like Tom is showing you right now, it even has some nice RS features down there in the door opening when you're getting into the car. The big bell of the ball is going to be these seats. These are full Recaro seats, bottom and top. I love the Alcantara. I love the way it's a mix of leather and Alcantara. Now, what I like that they did is that the outside is leather. So when you're getting into the car, this is going to take most of the wear compared to this being all Alcantara. I like that they did that. I love, if Tom could show you in here, the way they went nitrous blue with the Recaro name and then a wonderful RS logo right in the back of the seat. Very, very nicely done, and it's got that nitrous blue cross stitching as well. Here is where I think Ford could have done a little bit more. I do like the black personally, but I know a lot of people, this is a little too much flat black. It is nice, soft material, and I do like the pattern on it. But right here, like this is just a harder plastic. I like the piano black. Maybe if they would have taken the piano black and brought it up to here to kind of blend it in. It's got a wonderful infotainment system. If you have not been in a new Ford lately, this My Connect Ford infotainment system is amazing. It's really easy to use. It's very quick. It's wonderful. This setup here I love, but I also don't love at the same time. What you're going to have is you're going to have your oil temperature, your boost, and oil pressure. I like to see those things in enthusiast cars. More information is always going to be better than less information. The problem is the gauges are a little hard to read. There's not many increments on the gauges, and they're a little small. So I'm hoping that in the next Ford Focus RS, they rectify. I really like what Subaru does is they actually have a digital display up here on top of the dash to show you a boost gauge, and you could go through all that. But I do um, give a big thumbs up to Ford for having the oil temperature and the oil pressure. There it is, that wonderful 6-speed manual transmission. This car does have launch control. So you go into the features of the car, you put it in first gear, you hold down the clutch, and you slam on the gas and hold it down. It limits the RPM to about 5,000 RPM, and then you just let your foot off that clutch, and off you go like a missile. Air conditioning controls, biggest gripe, they're easy to use, but it's really close to the shifter. So sometimes when you're being a little lazy and maybe you go to upshift, your hand slips off, you will hit this and it will adjust your air conditioning maybe when you don't want it to. Another thing that is a little weird is where they place this 12-volt outlet. I mean, I guess it's nice if you're running a radar detector, but it's kind of like right here. I do like this little cubby. It's a perfect size for a cell phone, garage door opener, all that good stuff. And you do have the USB right there, which is a nice touch. If you look on the shift boot, they do carry the stitching into the leather shift boot. And then this section right here, it's a little hard plastic. I'm not really the biggest fan. I wish that there was a way to slide a cover over this. But what's nice is when the car is on at night and you have the light on, there's red LED lights that light up in here, which is kind of nice. Also, we have the good old-fashioned emergency brake lever. We don't have an electric emergency brake. It's nice leather with the stitching on it in the nitrous blue. I like the silver right here, and it's really nice to use and very smooth. Same thing with the shift knob. This is a great shift knob. You can change them out. There's lots on the market, but it's very smooth and very crisp shifts, much smoother than, say, an STI or even a Type R, believe it or not, when it actually comes to the smoothness. And then to top it off, finally, somebody's been listening to me. Ford put a wonderful armrest here. When you're driving, I know you're supposed to have both hands on the wheel. I got it. But sometimes when you're just like driving to work or something, you want to put your arm down. It's nice because it's at a nice level. I'm not leaning over. It's a really nice leather with that wonderful nitrous blue. The last part is right in front of the driver. Now, when it comes to the steering wheel, I love the shape of the steering wheel. I wish it was just a tad thicker, just a tad, but it's got wonderful 10 and 2 grips. It doesn't have like a ton of levers sticking out all over the place, which is cool. Everything is integrated into the steering wheel. It's got the wonderful RS badge with the cross stitch around the whole steering wheel. I think the biggest gripe that I have when it comes to what's in front of me is this whole section here with the gauge cluster. I think they went a little cheap with the colors and the material. If you compare this to, say, the STI wins hands down. The graphics they use, the lighting, the materials, it's a very nice touch. One thing I do like that the STI doesn't have is that this has different drive modes. Now, the STI does have the SI drive, but what these drive modes do just by pressing this button is I can actually adjust the stiffness of the suspension. I can actually go into 4 different modes, including that infamous drift mode. And what's nice too is that this is also going to make that exhaust tone louder. You do have a heated steering wheel, and you can shut everything off in this car. All traction control, all the aids can be shut off. So when you're doing that track day or that autocross event, you're in control of the car. So at the end of the day, you could see how you're getting a lot for the money, and maybe there's not a big separation interior wise between the ST and the RS. There's enough to where you know what you're driving. All right, guys. So you can see at the end of the day, if you go do your homework, there's still plenty of 2017 Ford Focus RSs out there if you look. And I think that's going to be right now the tipping point is because there's still cars available, you're not going to see your particular RS, if you already own one or if you do go and buy one, go up in value. What's going to have to happen is there's going to have to be a shift between that supply and demand, good old fashioned economics, for there to be a change. I think what is going to happen, though, as the months go by, because remember, production of the 2018 Ford Focus RS ceased at the beginning of April. So they're no longer in Germany rolling out any more Ford Focus RSs. So there is going to be that tipping point where supply and demand is going to balance out, and maybe that is going to make a change for the values of these cars. But I want to give a big shout out to Tracy and Benji at Walker Ford for helping wrap this up and put it together. And everybody at Walker Ford, they're very accommodating to Radi's rides, and I always love being here. If you have not hit that subscribe button, I don't know what else to say. Please hit that subscribe button. We did over 4,000 subscribers, so thank you all who have subscribed and who have been watching. I'm very grateful. I'm very humbled by all of the support I've been getting. If you have any questions or comments, leave it in that comment section. If there's something specific you want to see, you could either go to radiesrides.com and send me an email directly there, leave it in the comment section, or visit my Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All original Radies Rides content. And like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.